Our next guest has great info about beating loneliness while staying at home and social distancing. Here's Harvard professor and social scientist Arthur Brooks.
Hi friends, I'm Arthur Brooks. I'm a professor of the practice of public leadership at the Harvard Kennedy School and a senior fellow at the Harvard Business School, but most importantly, I'm one of your neighbors in Brookline, Massachusetts, a beautiful place that we all love living. We're all stuck during this coronavirus lockdown and we're looking for ways to make our lives better, so I want to give you a little bit of advice, something that I do for a living. I teach a class at the Harvard Business School on happiness, and so I want to give you one piece of advice that you might be able to use that I teach my students about. A lot of people are telling me that they're suffering from loneliness. I mean, maybe they're quarantining with somebody they love, but they're not seeing as many people, and it's kind of taxing. It's psychologically difficult. I get that. If you're feeling uncomfortable because of loneliness, because your lack of contact with enough people, what's going on is that you have a problem, which is a lack of a neurotransmitter in your brain called oxytocin. Oxytocin is produced by the human brain to bond us to one another, and it's an elixir of happiness. It's really important. If you don't get enough of it, you don't feel good, and that's what a lot of people are feeling when they say, I feel almost physically uncomfortable from this loneliness. That's what's going on. How do you get more oxytocin? The answer is the brain produces it in response to eye contact and touch. You're not getting enough of those two things, even if you're quarantining with a friend or a loved one. Why? Because you react to that person that you live with the same way you always have, but you don't have enough contact with enough other people. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few steps of advice that can make this better. Number one, stay off social media. Now, I know, you feel like you want more contact, you're going to go to social media and contact all the people that you typically talk to on social media. The problem is, no oxytocin, because there's no eye contact and there's no touch. Instead, use technologies where you have eye contact, like FaceTime, like Zoom, like Skype. It will make you feel a lot better. As a matter of fact, I recommend that you therapeutically use those technologies for between 1 and 2 hours a day. You'll feel a lot happier. Off social media, on face-to-face technologies. That's number one. Number two is more touch. If you are lucky enough to be quarantining with another person, you need to touch that person more. There's a guy that I do work with in California, and he's the world's leading expert on blood oxytocin levels. He says that oxytocin is at its maximum level when you hug somebody for 22 seconds. You know what that means? That means somebody you're quarantining with needs, and you need a 22-second hug every 2 hours. Okay? That's the prescription for you. I know it's going to feel weird at first, but you're going to like it a lot. Trust me. Now, the other thing, by the way, if you're quarantining by yourself but you got a pet, there's great research that shows that when you pet your dog and look them in the eyes, you get oxytocin, and so does your dog. We were evolved in parallel. It's one of the great miracles. So in other words, it doesn't even have to be a person, but you need more eye contact and you need more touch. Those are the two things that you really need to do while staying off the technology that actually makes things worse. I hope this is helpful. I hope that you stay happy. I hope that you stay healthy. I hope to see you at the supermarket. We'll make eye contact with each other here in Brookline if we do. Special shout out today to all the people who are keeping us safe and healthy, our healthcare workers. There's so many of them who are neighbors here in Brookline. And I'm hoping that your life gets better. We learn some good practices, and who knows, maybe we can come out of our lockdown better than we went in. See you around town.